Hello, dear student friends. I myself, Dr. Vijay Maknikar, Assistant Professor in Law, Sri Shivaji Law College, Parbhani, and today I am going to deliver a lecture on the topic Part Performance under Section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. It is also known as Doctrine of Part Performance. Friends, before going to the crux of the section, we'll see the definition of part performance, the doctrine of part performance. If a person has taken possession of an immovable property on the basis of a contract of a sale and has either performed or is willing to perform his part of the contract, then he would not be ejected from the property on the ground that the sale was unregistered. Doctrine of part performance under the Transfer of Property Act is basically having nexus with the English doctrine of part performance. So we can see the inspiration how the DP Act has taken from this English doctrine. In England, there was a statute of frauds that was passed in the year of 1677. According to section 4 of the statute, it was required that all contracts relating to the land to be in writing, that aim to prevent the fraud at the transfer of the land. According to it, if a seller repudiate his promise on the ground that it was not reduced into the writing, then it was made enforceable in equity, provided the party seeking such enforceable has acted in part performance of the agreement. So this is the background under which we can see section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. In order to understand the doctrine of part performance, we need to see one case law, English case law, Walsh versus Lonsdale of 1882. In this case, Mr. Lonsdale leased cotton mill to Mr. Walsh, and there was an agreement between the parties, but the agreement was not signed. As the mill was leased to Mr. Walsh, Walsh was supposed to pay the rents regularly, but he failed to pay the rents. Hence, Mr. Lonsdale distrained certain goods of Walsh for rents. And during those times, distraining of goods was a remedy in England. So accordingly, Lonsdale exercised his right. Instead of repaying the rents, Walsh sued Mr. Lonsdale in the court of law, but ultimately the court favored the judgment in the side of Lonsdale, and it upheld his right of distributing the goods, because it was considered that it was Lonsdale who performed his part, and he was also willing to perform his part, but it was on the part of Walsh who failed to perform his part. So finally, we can conclude certain essentials. We can deduce the essentials with the help of the definition that we have already discussed and going through the essence of section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. So first essential of part performance is there is contract for transfer of an immovable property, but which is not registered as the law requires, as per the recommendations or necessity of the law, requirements of law, that contract has not been registered. Second thing, according to such agreement that we have seen in the first essential element, the transferee takes the possession of the property, immovable property, as per the terms and conditions of the contract. Thirdly, the transferee has either performed or willing to perform his part of the contract. Under such circumstances, the party which has transferred that property cannot eject the transferee on the ground that the contract or the agreement was not registered. Finally, we have to see that section 53 is only available as a shield to the transferee, not as a sword. So certainly the transferee reserves his rights, the transferor reserves his right, but that doesn't mean the transferee can use this right that in the form of part performance against him in the form of sword, but rather he only can defend he is a possession. So I hope you understood the topic. Thank you.